In the vastness of the cosmos, the Xinthian ship glided silently toward Earth. Its sleek, elongated form shimmered against the backdrop of stars, appearing almost ethereal. Within the ship, Commander Xura observed the blue planet through the viewing portal, her antennae twitching in anticipation. The Xinthians had long thought of themselves as the most advanced beings in the galaxy, invisible to lesser races. They had encountered many species but were intrigued by humans, who had recently begun to explore the stars. Xura's mind raced with thoughts about these beings. She had heard they were fragile yet filled with an unyielding spirit. They hailed from a planet teeming with life, their cultures rich and diverse. The Xinthians had spent countless cycles studying humans from afar, noting their resilience in the face of adversity. But now they were finally here to make contact. As the ship descended, Xura felt a rush of excitement mixed with a hint of anxiety. She gathered her team: Pilot Xinor, a tall Xinthian with iridescent skin, and scientist Tiva, known for her quick wit and inventive mind. Together, they were to be the ambassadors of their species. "Prepare the communication devices," Xura commanded. "We must establish contact immediately." Xinor nodded, his fingers dancing across the control panel, while Tiva adjusted the settings on her equipment. The ship landed softly in a remote field, far from the bustling cities where humans lived. The air was filled with a mix of earthy scents and the distant sounds of wildlife. With a deep breath, Xura stepped outside, her mandibles clicking in a rhythm that echoed her heartbeat. The moment she set foot on Earth, a shiver of anticipation coursed through her. The vibrant colors of the planet's flora were overwhelming, and she marveled at the small creatures scurrying about. As they ventured deeper into the field, their presence caught the attention of nearby humans. A group of researchers, equipped with recording devices, approached cautiously. Among them was Dr. Adrian Scott, a biologist renowned for his curiosity about extraterrestrial life. His eyes widened as he took in the sight of the alien beings. Xura raised her appendages in a gesture of peace, while Tiva activated a device to translate their language. "We come in peace. We wish to learn about your species." The humans exchanged glances, their expressions a mix of awe and apprehension. Dr. Scott stepped forward, his voice steady. "I'm Dr. Adrian Scott. We are excited to meet you, but we need to establish trust." Xura nodded, understanding the weight of his words. Trust was vital, especially with beings who were not accustomed to the idea of aliens. "We understand. Our intentions are purely scientific. We wish to share knowledge." However, the humans were wary. They had seen countless movies depicting aliens as threats, and the Xinthians, with their imposing stature and alien features, did little to quell their fears. One of the researchers, a young woman named Sarah, whispered to her colleagues, "What if they're hostile?" Before Xura could respond, another human stepped forward. Captain Marcus Reed, a military officer with a stern demeanor, surveyed the scene. "I suggest we keep a safe distance until we know more about these aliens," he declared. Xura felt a pang of frustration. The Xinthians had come with good intentions, yet here they were, facing suspicion. "We mean you no harm. Our technology is advanced, but we seek understanding, not conflict." The tension in the air was palpable. Dr. Scott took a deep breath, sensing the need for calm. "Let's show them our research facility. It might ease their concerns," he suggested. Marcus hesitated, but the curiosity in his eyes was undeniable. "Fine, but let's keep a watchful eye." As they walked towards the facility, the Xinthians took in the surroundings. The humans had built structures that seemed to blend with nature, a testament to their ingenuity. But Xura's mind was preoccupied. She couldn't shake the feeling that the humans saw them as a threat, invisible beings lurking in the shadows of their imagination. Reaching the research center, they gathered in a large room filled with screens displaying information about Earth's ecosystems. Xura began to explain their mission, her excitement growing as she spoke about their advanced technology. But as she detailed their plans, she noticed the humans' expressions remained skeptical. Clara knew that the first step toward understanding was overcoming their fears. Perhaps a demonstration would help, she proposed. Dr. Scott nodded, his interest piqued. What do you have in mind? Allow us to show you our cloaking technology, Clara replied, her mandibles clicking softly. It will help illustrate our capabilities without any threat. The humans exchanged uncertain looks, but their curiosity was beginning to win. Clara could sense a shift, a crack in the wall of distrust. Little did they know, this was just the beginning of a journey that would challenge their perceptions and unite them in ways they never imagined. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with shades of orange and purple, the Xinthians prepared for their demonstration. They had set up a series of devices outside the research center, eager to showcase their cloaking technology. Clara hoped that this display would ease the tension and open the door for meaningful dialogue. Dr. Scott and his team gathered around, their expressions a mixture of excitement and apprehension. Marcus, ever vigilant, stood slightly behind them, arms crossed as he observed the Xinthians with a wary gaze. Prepare the cloaking field, Clara commanded Xina, who swiftly activated the device. With a flick of his appendage, the Xinthian ship shimmered, then began to disappear before their eyes. The humans gasped, their disbelief evident as the ship seemed to fade into thin air. Impressive, but can it be used for more than just hiding? Marcus asked, his skepticism still palpable. Absolutely, Teva interjected, eager to prove the technology's versatility. Our cloaking technology can also be adapted for communication and defensive purposes. It allows us to blend in with our surroundings, making us undetectable to potential threats. Dr. Scott leaned in, fascinated. Could you demonstrate how it works in different scenarios? Of course. Clara replied, her mandibles clicking in excitement. She motioned for Xina to initiate the second phase of the demonstration. The ship flickered back into view, and they began to showcase various modes of the cloaking technology. However, as they demonstrated their ability to cloak themselves against different backgrounds, misunderstandings began to brew. One of the humans, Jenna, who had been observing closely, whispered to Marcus, "What if they're using this technology to spy on us? What if they're here to invade?" Before Marcus could respond, the demonstration took an unexpected turn. In their eagerness to impress, Teva accidentally activated the wrong setting, causing the ship to shimmer and then burst back into view with a loud bang. The sound startled everyone, and the humans instinctively recoiled. "See, they can't even control their own technology," Jenna exclaimed, her voice rising with fear. Tensing the panic, quickly attempted to defuse the situation. "Please, that was an accident. We meant no harm. Our technology is still in development." "Accidents can lead to disaster," Marcus replied, his voice low and firm. "We need to tread carefully." Frustrated but understanding the humans' concerns, Clara took a deep breath. "I assure you, our goal is to learn from you as much as you will learn from us. We wish to collaborate, not conquer." Dr. Scott stepped forward, sensing the tension rising. "Let's not jump to conclusions. We have a chance here to learn from each other. We can explore possibilities together." With hesitant nods, the humans agreed to continue the discussions, albeit with a level of caution. They gathered in the research center once more, with the Xinthians sharing their knowledge about the universe and their understanding of Earth's ecosystems. As the conversation unfolded, a new understanding began to take root. The Xinthians learned about human resilience, how they overcame adversities, and their relentless. As the discussion progressed, Clara shared stories of her people's past, how they had faced near extinction due to a catastrophic event on their home planet, which had propelled them to seek new worlds and allies among the stars. Her passion shone through her words, captivating Dr. Scott and the others. "I believe we have more in common than we realize," Dr. Scott said, his voice softening. "Both of our species have struggled to survive and thrive in challenging environments." Marcus, still on edge, crossed his arms but couldn't help but nod slightly. We faced our own trials here on Earth. From natural disasters to wars among ourselves, we've always had to adapt and overcome. Zinor chimed in, his iridescent skin shimmering in the artificial light. Then perhaps we can share strategies. Our advancements in sustainable energy and resource management could be of great help to you. Jenna, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. And we can offer insights into human psychology and resilience. Understanding how we cope with fear and uncertainty might be beneficial for you. Styra's antennae twitched with excitement. Yes, together, we can learn how to better support one another. This is the essence of collaboration. The atmosphere shifted, the initial tension beginning to dissolve into a more productive dialogue. But as they discussed possibilities, misunderstandings still lingered. Each time a Cynthian mentioned their advanced technology, the humans couldn't shake their apprehension. Just because you have advanced technology doesn't mean you can understand the nuances of human emotion, Marcus stated, his protective instincts flaring. Technology doesn't solve everything. Shira nodded, realizing the weight of his words. You are right, Captain. It is essential to approach this collaboration with empathy and mutual respect. We may be technologically advanced, but we must understand your culture and emotions deeply. Dr. Scott smiled, appreciating the Cynthians' willingness to learn. It's a two-way street. We'll need to teach you about our societal complexities, just as you will teach us about your technologies. As they continued discussing potential projects, the sun began to rise, casting golden light across the research center. It was a new day, filled with promise and opportunity. Yet, just as their conversation turned hopeful, a sudden alarm blared throughout the facility, interrupting their discussions. Startled, everyone rushed to the nearest screens displaying warnings. Intruder alert. Unidentified spacecraft detected, a robotic voice announced. Styra's heart raced as she exchanged worried glances with her team. What does that mean? She asked, her voice steady despite the turmoil inside. Dr. Scott quickly typed on the console, bringing up a view of the incoming craft. It looks like a small ship, but its origin is unknown. Marcus immediately took charge. Everyone stay calm. We need to assess the situation. Axera, can your technology help us identify that ship? Let me check our systems, Zana said, typing furiously. After a moment, he turned to the group, concern etched across his face. It's not responding to our communications. It's cloaked. Dr. Scott exchanged worried looks with Marcus. If it's cloaked, they may not be friendly. We should prepare for the worst. Sarah's eyes narrowed, understanding the implications of the situation. Our cloaking technology is sophisticated. If someone else is using it, we need to investigate who they are and what they want. The group fell silent as they processed this new threat. The Cynthians had come to Earth seeking knowledge and connection, but now it seemed they were at the center of a brewing conflict. Part 3. Building Bridges. As the alarm echoed in the facility, the urgency of the moment pressed upon everyone. We need to gather intelligence on that ship, Marcus said, his authoritative voice breaking the tension. If they're a threat, we must protect ourselves. Talira stepped forward, determination igniting her gaze. We can use our technology to enhance your systems. If they're cloaked, we may be able to counteract that and reveal their position. Dr. Scott nodded, appreciating her proactive stance. Let's combine our resources. I'll get our monitoring equipment ready while you set up your tech. Zeno and Tava moved swiftly to their ship, working to configure their devices for integration with the human systems. Meanwhile, Marcus and Dr. Scott gathered the research team, briefing them on the potential threat. We can't let fear dictate our actions, Marcus stated firmly. We need to be strategic. This could be our first test as allies. The humans, now more willing to work with the Cynthians, quickly began to share their expertise. They connected their monitoring systems with the Cynthian tech, creating a comprehensive view of the surrounding area. Together, they worked late into the night, fueled by adrenaline and a shared purpose. As dawn broke, the team finally managed to detect the cloaked ship's energy signature. It was small, yet it was armed, and it was moving rapidly towards the research center. "There's no doubt it's hostile," Zana confirmed, his tone serious. "They're preparing to attack." Panic rippled through the group, but Marcus remained focused. "We need to set up a defense. Alexira, can your ship protect us?" Dira nodded. "Yes, our technology can shield us. We can generate a protective field around your facility, but we need to act quickly." With the plan in motion, they worked in tandem, humans and Zynthians combining their knowledge and skills. Tiva directed the Zynthian systems, while Dr. Scott coordinated the humans, turning the research center into a bastion of resistance. As the cloaked ship neared, the tension was palpable. Marcus stood at the front, ready to defend his team. "Whatever happens, we stand together," he shouted, rallying the group. The Zynthians activated their cloaking field, rendering the research center invisible to the approaching ship. As the enemy vessel came into view, the humans gasped, witnessing the Zynthian technology in action. The once feared aliens were now their allies, fighting against a common enemy. Suddenly, the hostile ship opened fire, beams of energy slicing through the air toward the facility. The Zynthian shield flared to life, absorbing the impact. Alexira and her team worked quickly, countering the threat with their own weaponry. "Return fire," Marcus commanded, adrenaline coursing through him. Tiva initiated their offensive, her fingers flying across the control panel as they launched countermeasures against the incoming threat. The Zynthian's ship shimmered, becoming a blur of motion as it darted around the attacking vessel, firing bursts of energy in return. In the chaos of the battle, Thyra realized that the humans were not just brave, they were ingenious. They adapted quickly, coordinating their movements seamlessly with the Zynthians. The tide of the battle began to shift. The enemy ship, overwhelmed by the combined forces, faltered. "We can do this," Dr. Scott yelled, his excitement palpable. "We're winning." With one final coordinated strike, the Zynthian and human forces overwhelmed the enemy vessel. It spiraled out of control, disappearing into the atmosphere below. As silence fell over the research center, the humans and Zynthians shared looks of disbelief and relief. They had faced a threat together and emerged victorious. "Thank you for your assistance," Ayara said, her voice filled with gratitude. "Without your bravery, we may not have survived this encounter." Marcus nodded, a smile breaking through his usual stern demeanor. "We make a good team. I think we're just beginning to understand one another." Dr. Scott added, "Let's not forget the lessons learned today. We need to strengthen our partnership." With a newfound respect for one another, the humans and Zynthians began to discuss their next steps. They were no longer just distant observers of one another. They were allies, ready to explore the vast possibilities that lay ahead. Together, they had faced a challenge that could have torn them apart, but instead, it had forged a bond that would shape their futures. As they looked toward the horizon, a new dawn broke, filled with hope, potential, and endless discovery. The atmosphere was charged with excitement and newfound camaraderie as the Zynthians and humans celebrated their victory. They gathered in the research center, sharing stories and laughter, but the taste of triumph was soon overshadowed by a sense of urgency. The reality of their situation began to set in. They were not alone in the universe, and there were other forces at play. Marcus, standing at the forefront of the group, couldn't shake the feeling that this encounter was just the beginning. "We need to learn more about that ship and who was behind it," he said, his voice steady and authoritative. "If they were coming for us, there's a chance they'll return." Dr. Scott nodded in agreement. "We should analyze the data we collected during the battle. It might give us insight into their technology and intentions." Feyre chimed in, her tone serious. "Our intelligence suggests that there are rogue factions in the galaxy. The Zynthians have faced them before, and their presence is often marked by aggression. We may have become a target because of our interest in Earth." The humans exchanged worried glances, realizing the gravity of the situation. They had barely begun to understand. Determined to uncover the truth, Marcus assigned teams to analyze the data while Axlera and her crew worked to identify the ship's origins. They pored over the telemetry and energy signatures, looking for clues. As they examined the records, Tiva's sharp eyes caught something unusual. "Look at this," she said, pointing to a series of energy readings that didn't match any known technology. "These signatures are different. They're not from the ship we just encountered." Thyra leaned closer, her antennae twitching with intrigue. Could they belong to another faction? Perhaps a larger fleet is in the area. Dr. Scott furrowed his brow, a sense of dread creeping into the room. "If there's a fleet, we need to act quickly. They could be planning a more coordinated attack." Marcus, feeling the weight of responsibility, rallied the team. "We need to prepare for any eventuality. Strengthen our defenses and gather intelligence on these new ships. Faxira, can your cloaking technology help us remain hidden from their scanners?" "Yes," Haxira replied. "We can create a broader field that conceals our presence while we gather data, but we must remain vigilant. If they detect us, they may retaliate." The team sprang into action, combining Xinthian technology with human ingenuity. They worked tirelessly through the night, setting up a network of sensors and cloaking devices that would alert them to any approaching vessels. Their combined efforts transformed the research center into a fortified base of operations. As dawn broke, a palpable sense of tension filled the air. The team gathered around the main console, where a live feed displayed the surrounding space. Hours passed with nothing out of the ordinary. Just as hope began to rise, an alert blared through the facility. "Incoming ships detected," the system announced. Everyone froze, their hearts racing as the feed displayed multiple vessels entering the atmosphere. The ships were massive, bristling with weapons and ominously cloaked in shadows. "Identify them," Marcus commanded, his voice firm despite the rising panic. Zinor tapped furiously at the controls. "They match the energy signatures we analyzed earlier. It's a fleet from the Rylox Empire." The mention of the Rylox Empire sent a chill through the room. Known for their ruthless tactics and aggressive expansion, the Rylox had a reputation that struck fear into the hearts of many species. "They're here for us," Kaxera realized, her voice a mix of concern and determination. "We must prepare for a confrontation. They won't take kindly to our alliance." Dr. Scott quickly moved to organize the human teams. "Let's not panic. We can defend ourselves, but we need to be strategic about this. Marcus, can you coordinate the defense while we keep an eye on their movements?" "Yes, but we need to be proactive," Marcus replied. "Celera, can your ship engage their sensors? If we can disrupt their targeting systems, it will buy us time to figure out our next move." The Xinthians immediately set to work, preparing their ship for a tactical maneuver. Vaxilera and her team took their positions, ready to deploy the cloaking field and the countermeasures they had developed. As the enemy ships descended, the humans felt a wave of anxiety wash over them. But alongside that fear was a fierce determination to protect their world and newfound allies. They were not going to let fear dictate their actions. "Remember, we are stronger together," Marcus said, trying to instill confidence. "We've already faced one threat, and we can do it again." The first Rylox ship entered firing range, its cannons primed to unleash a barrage. Axlera and her team activated the cloaking technology just as the ship unleashed its firepower. A brilliant explosion lit up the sky as the energy beams met the Xinthian shields, creating a spectacle of light. "Hold steady," Marcus yelled. "Engage defensive protocols." The research center became a hive of activity as the humans and Xinthians worked in unison. The Osiris ship moved in tandem with the humans' defenses, creating a protective barrier that absorbed the incoming blasts. In the chaos, they managed to establish a counter-offensive strategy. Zinor piloted their ship to evade attacks, while Tiva worked the weaponry systems, launching retaliatory strikes against the enemy vessels. "Fire!" she shouted, her excitement evident as their beams illuminated the darkening sky. The first Rylox ship took a hit, sending it spiraling off course. But just as they gained momentum, more enemy ships emerged, surrounding the research center. The odds were against them, but the humans and Xinthians had forged a bond that fueled their resolve. "This is our moment," Marcus yelled, adrenaline pumping. "We fight for our worlds." With renewed determination, they pressed forward, showcasing a blend of Xinthian technology and human courage. As the battle raged on, it became clear that their partnership was a force to be reckoned with. With the Rylox fleet bearing down on them, the atmosphere inside the research center crackled with urgency and resolve. The once tense group transformed into a well-coordinated team, united against a common enemy. The sound of energy blasts echoed around them, each explosion underscoring the need for swift action. "Focus fire on the lead ship," Marcus commanded, his eyes scanning the screens for any signs of weakness. "We need to break their formation." "On it," Tiva responded, her fingers dancing over the controls. The Xinthians had equipped the human systems with advanced targeting algorithms, significantly enhancing their accuracy. As their ship maneuvered gracefully through the chaotic battlefield, Tyra felt a surge of pride for her team and the humans they had come to respect. "We can do this together," she shouted, rallying the troops. "We must disable their command ship to disrupt their coordination." Dr. Scott leaned over the console, rapidly inputting commands. "I've identified their command ship. It's the largest one in the center of the fleet. If we can hit it hard, we may create confusion among their ranks." The Xinthian ship darted into position, cloaking briefly before reappearing to deliver a powerful strike. Energy beams surged toward the command ship, striking its shields and causing the vessel to tremble. "Direct hit," Xynor exclaimed, excitement sparking in his voice. But the Rylox were quick to retaliate. "Reinforcements coming in," one of the human technicians shouted, pointing to the screens as more enemy ships arrived, reinforcing the beleaguered command vessel. "Keep firing. We can't let up," Marcus urged, his voice steady amidst the chaos. As they continued their assault, the humans and Xinthians adapted their strategies on the fly, leveraging their unique strengths. Humans used their agility and speed to move through the research center, tending to wounded comrades and maintaining their defensive systems, while Xinthians harnessed their advanced technology to power their countermeasures. "Deploy the EMP pulse," Tiva called out, initiating a critical component of their plan. Flora nodded, understanding the gravity of the maneuver. The electromagnetic pulse would disrupt the Rylox systems, providing a crucial window of opportunity. "Ready when you are," she confirmed. With a collective breath, the team unleashed the EMP, its energy rippling through the air like a wave. The Rylox ships faltered, their systems temporarily incapacitated. The moment of vulnerability was palpable. "Now, let's strike while they're down," Marcus yelled, his voice a rallying cry that ignited their resolve. The Xinthian and human forces surged forward, combining their firepower against the reeling Rylox command ship. Energy beams and projectiles erupted into the enemy ship's hull, causing structural damage and sending debris scattering into the void. "Keep pushing. We can take them," Dr. Scott shouted, his adrenaline pumping as he worked to maintain their momentum. But even as they pressed the attack, the Rylox were relentless. "They're regaining their systems," Xynor warned, panic threading his tone. "Brace for incoming fire," Marcus shouted, instinctively leading the group to take cover as energy blasts ricocheted around them. The research center trembled under the assault, but they held firm. Thyra and Tiva worked in tandem, maintaining the shield systems and returning fire. "We have to finish this now," Tiva urged, her focus unwavering. With one final push, they coordinated a concentrated strike, aiming for the command ship's reactor core. The attack landed with devastating effect, and the ship erupted into a brilliant explosion, casting fiery light across the battlefield. Cheers erupted from the team, a wave of relief and triumph washing over them. But the victory was short-lived as the remaining Rylox ships began to retreat, their formation breaking apart. "They're fleeing," one of the technicians called out, astonished. "Good. Let's not let them regroup," Marcus said, determination in his eyes. "We need to chase them down and ensure they don't return." Solara turned to the humans, her heart swelling with pride. "We did it. Together, we faced a powerful enemy and prevailed." The camaraderie among the group was palpable. They had overcome fear and misunderstanding to unite against a common threat. This battle was a testament to their strength, a defining moment in their relationship. As they monitored the fleeing Rylox ships, a sense of hope began to blossom. They had built bridges between their cultures and learned to trust one another in ways they had never imagined. Yet, even amidst their celebration, a lingering question remained. What would this victory mean for the future? The universe was vast, and other threats could be lurking in the shadows. As the dust settled and the remnants of the battle faded, the Xinthians and humans gathered in the main chamber of the research center. Their hearts were still racing from the adrenaline, but there was an unmistakable sense of accomplishment in the air. "Today, we proved that we can stand together against any threat," Marcus said, addressing the group. "We forged a bond that goes beyond mere alliance. We've created something that will benefit both our species." Dr. Scott nodded, a smile breaking across his face. "This is just the beginning. With our combined knowledge and technology, we can explore the stars and safeguard our worlds from future threats." Solara's antennae twitched with excitement, and we must share our discoveries with others. By fostering cooperation, we can build a coalition that protects the peace in our galaxy. The humans and Xinthians began discussing plans for a new collaborative research initiative. They envisioned joint missions to explore distant planets and share their technologies, ensuring that they remained vigilant against potential threats. As they brainstormed ideas, the conversation flowed seamlessly, and laughter echoed through the halls. Each shared story of their species enriched their understanding of one another, fostering a sense of unity. But beneath the surface of their excitement, they were acutely aware of the challenges that lay ahead. The Rylox Empire was not a singular entity. Other factions could emerge, drawn by the allure of power or the desire to dominate. "We must remain vigilant," Marcus reminded them. "This battle won't be the last. We need to be ready for whatever comes next." Jira agreed, her voice resolute. "Our cooperation must be more than just a response to threats. We should engage in proactive measures, exploring alliances with other species who share our values." The idea resonated within the group, igniting discussions about potential partnerships. They envisioned a future where humans and Xinthians could lead a coalition of diverse species, promoting peace and understanding throughout the galaxy. As the days turned into weeks, their alliance grew stronger. They trained together, honing their skills and strategies, always prepared for the unexpected. They began to expand their research, discovering new technologies and sharing knowledge that would benefit both species. On a clear day, they launched their first joint mission, traveling to a nearby moon rich with resources. The ship was a symbol of their unity, a sleek Xinthian vessel outfitted with human technology, a testament to what they could accomplish together. As they soared through the stars, Axira and Marcus stood side by side on the bridge, gazing out at the vastness of space. "We've come a long way," Marcus said, a sense of wonder in his voice. "I never imagined I'd be exploring the universe with aliens." Stira smiled, her mandibles clicking softly. "And I never thought I would find allies among humans. Together, we can achieve so much more than we could alone." The ship glided smoothly through the cosmos, a beacon of hope and collaboration. As they ventured into the unknown, the bonds they had forged would carry them forward, inspiring others to join their cause. This was only the beginning of their journey. Together, they would face new challenges, explore uncharted worlds, and build a legacy of peace and cooperation. They had proven that even in a galaxy filled with uncertainty, humanity and Cynthian ingenuity could shine brightly, lighting the path toward a hopeful future. With their hearts set on the stars, they embraced the adventures that awaited them, united in purpose and ready to shape the destiny of the universe together.